Okay, everyone wants to know the true story behind the creation, the invention of Rocky Road ice cream. So that started years and years ago, back in the 20s, when Fenton's ice cream maker, Melvin Fenton, and the candy maker, George Farren, were working together. And they just came up with this creation. And it was taking the candy bar, which was out there, Rocky Road Candy Bar. And back in those days, it was really simple in terms of the ice creams available. We had the Neapolitan, you had the vanilla, you had the chocolate, and you had the strawberry. So they did a first of, and that's mix-ins, where you take the walnuts, you take the marshmallows, and you layer them in on the chocolate ice cream, and you created Rocky Road ice cream. So my own personal kind of story timeline into that. So that occurred in the 20s. There's a recipe card. There's a lot of kind of history around that. It was my mentor, Ken Cook, who was the president of Dreyer's Ice Cream, who did a shout out to me personally. And he said, I want you to go get Fenton's out of Foremost, the largest dairy in the United States. Fenton's is inside of it. It should be a community business. Scott, will you go pull it outside of this Fortune 500 company? So that was Ken Cook, who was really an advocate for quality ice cream. And that's what put Dreyer's on the map in terms of Ken Cook working with William Dreyer and just being advocates for good, pure, high quality ice cream. So he was the one that was the promoter of going to Fenton's. And it's from Ken Cook, who had built Dreyer's into a household name by then. Later on, it would go be sold and go public and become kind of the largest ice cream in the United States. So Ken Cook is the one that said, hey, Fenton's has been part of this community. They're the oldest in the state of California. They invented Rocky Road. And he said he knew that, and he promoted within Dreyer's that Dreyer's invented Rocky Road because Dreyer's needed something to be grand about. So that's how that storyline, just confirmation from Ken, and just saying, hey, Fenton's is so busy creating lines and making great ice cream. They don't really care. They're not promoting it. So Dreyer's is going to promote it. So that's the background on that. And it's true that Fenton's had many inventions. Melvin also invented Swiss milk chocolate about the same time, which is the first use of a liquid chocolate. When it hits the ice cream, it makes showers. He invented toasted almond, which would later on power the #1 sundae, the Black Tan Sundae. So there was a whole lot going on within their family business, being the largest dairy in the East Bay. They were making milk and cheese and ice cream and a whole home delivery. A lot was going on. So that's the background behind it.